Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param dristva nivartate. Now is the time to inquire about the absolute truth. Who am I? Who is God? What is our relationship? Why do I have to die? What happens when I die? And how can I go back to the spiritual world? So these are very, very important questions.
Usually I see, Maharajji, that so many people get confused in between if am I a body or if am I a soul. What's the truth?
Whatever you remember at the time of death, that you will attain without fail. So whatever we remember at the time of death, that will affect our next destination. So Lord Jagannath, Jaga means universe, and Nath means controller or Lord. So Jagannath means Lord of the universe. As a Westerner, someone born in the Western countries, I'm not allowed to go inside the Jagannath Mandir. Satatam kirtayanto ma yantantascha jadhanataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate.
What if the greatest stage in the world wasn't Broadway, but your own heart? Imagine mastering 16 musical instruments, performing on the stage across continents, and then choosing a life of devotion over fame. What kind of calling is that? What is the thing that inspires such a profound transformation? Welcome to The Mystic Mind, the English series of Speaking Tree podcast. I am with you, your host and friend Madhavi. Here we will explore the timeless spiritual wisdom and its relevance in today's modern world. It is my privilege to have His Holiness Sri Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj, our sanyasi of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, as you know it, ISKCON. He is an inspiring spiritual teacher, a guru, a motivational speaker, as well as a globally acclaimed kirtan leader. His life has presented such a beautiful example of renouncing the world for the Krishna and living for the Krishna. Today, when you will hear him, you will get to know the science behind the bhakti that beautifully reminds us the highest form of success is not found within the world, but it's found in the awakening of the soul. I'm truly honored to welcome our guest today, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj. Very warm welcome, Swamiji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madhavi. So happy to be here.
I'm even honored to have you here, and your presence is gracing our studios today. And I believe I was somewhat manifesting this thing that we will be going to discuss on Krishna consciousness today. Swamiji, what made you renounce the world, renounce such a beautiful corporate life, and become a monk today?
So the reason that I renounced the world is because I found something better. I got a higher taste. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param dristva nivartate. That one can give up the lower things only when one gets a higher thing. It's called param. Param means the topmost. Dristva means a taste. Nivartate means to get. I got a higher taste by chanting and dancing and feasting on Krishna Prasadam, nachao, gao, cow. Then I just had a very wonderful and higher experience. And thus I came to Krishna consciousness.
I got to know that you were very young, and at such a tender age, you got a sudden inclination towards Krishna. What was that instance? What was the age? How old were you when you got connected to Krishna?
When I was about 4 or 5 years old, my Mausi, my mother's younger sister, traveled to India. And she brought back gifts for all the family. And I remember gathering, we were in the North Bronx of New York City. And on the 19th floor of our apartment building, my grandparents were there, my aunt, my uncle, cousins, mother, father, sister. And my aunt was handing out gifts to all of us. And for me, she gave me a small white-colored bottle of Ganga Jal.
Ganga Jal?
Yes. So I remember opening the bottle and pouring it over my head.
Oh, so cute.
So I had like a Ganga Snan when I was a very small boy. Then when I was 12 years old, I was in a children's production of the Broadway musical called Hair. And the writer of the musical, he had met the founder of ISKCON, Srila Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada had instructed him, next time you write a natak, a musical, you should include the Hare Krishna Maha mantra. So he did.
Is it?
And the next musical he wrote was called Hair. And I was part of a children's production of Hair. I was 12 years old, and I was the guitar player sitting in the pit orchestra with all these children who were actors. And in the last scene of the play, the children come out dressed like Hare Krishnas, even like with a stocking over the head so they look like they're a shaved head. And they sing Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So our musical director turned to us and he looked at me and he said, we need someone to sing this Hare Krishna song. And he said, you, guitar player, can you sing? And I said, yes, I can sing. So he said, okay, you sing this Hare Krishna song. So I said, okay. And I had the sheet music in front of me, and I had my guitar, and I was reading the sheet music, and I started playing and singing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So divine, so beautiful.
So we sang like this every day for 2 weeks, about half an hour, myself and the other children. And after about 2 weeks, I was pretty much hooked on this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And I continued playing it and singing it. And I heard my favorite musicians on the radio, like George Harrison from the Beatles, singing the beautiful song, My Sweet Lord, which also had Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And like this, I was journeying on and on. And when I was 15 years old, my sister, who was 3 years younger than I, was in New York City, and one devotee on the street gave her Bhagavad Gita, as it is, just like this one. And it was my birthday.
Oh, wow.
And she came home and she said, my dear brother, it's your birthday, happy birthday, I have a gift for you. So she gave me the Bhagavad Gita as a birthday present. And then it's called Bhagavad Gita as it is, Bhagavad Gita Yatharupe.
Bhagavad Gita as it is.
Yes.
Is it different from the original, that Gita?
Well, the idea is that There have been so many hundreds and thousands of translations of Bhagavad Gita, but this particular translation is translated as it is, with the original intention of Lord Krishna, without changing anything. That's why it's called as it is. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So this Bhagavad Gita is unique in that it's created thousands and thousands and lakhs and millions of Krishna bhaktas all over the world.
I will definitely ask my viewers to have a look at it, and camera person, if he can zoom in a little to show it to the viewers. Bhagavad Gita as it is, as Swamiji Maharaj is saying, you should read it. Absolutely divine, Maharajji.
So I had Bhagavad Gita as it is, and I kept it on my bookshelf next to my bed as it is.
Wow.
And then just by being close to it, I got some spiritual benefits. So similarly, I recommend everyone keep Bhagavad Gita at home, and their whole home will become spiritually enlivened by the presence of Bhagavad Gita. And sometimes I would open it up and have a read and get some inspiration.
Maharajji, I believe you were in Berklee as well. What was there that did not get you the feeling of contentment which you got in Krishna consciousness?
Berklee College of Music was a wonderful experience. Musicians from all over the world. I was absorbed in music from morning till night. I would practice 12 hours a day on the weekends. And it was so absorbing.
12 hours.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So during the summer period, I continued through the summer, and I was attending different workshops and seminars. The different traveling musicians were coming and giving seminars at the college. So one such personality, his name was Kaushal Anand.
Kaushal Anand.
He's from Australia, but he had been living in Benares for 2.5 years, studying tabla and Indian music. So for some reason, I always had an attraction for Indian food and Indian music and Indian culture. So I went to his presentation, and he sang so beautifully. He had a big tanpura, which was such an amazing sound. He played tablas, and we became friends afterwards, and we started doing jamming sessions together. And one day he said to me, I'm looking for a place to stay. If you kindly allow me to stay in your flat, your apartment with you, I'll teach you Indian music.
Wow, I believe it's a soul calling. It was a soul calling.
So I was like, yes, perfect, please come. So he came, and every morning we'd wake up early. We'd sit in the park across the street from my flat with his big tanpura, and he taught me sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa, and different beautiful bhajans we were singing. And he taught me that if you sit under the same tree every day, the tree will get to know you. So it was a very deep realization for me, because I never realized that trees are actually people too.
Is it? They are alive?
They're alive. They're a soul. There's an atma inside a tree. Anywhere you find these 6 changes, from growth, and then some birth, and then growth, and then maintaining, and then having children, and then dwindling, and then dying, anywhere these 6 changes are there, atma, soul, life is there. So then that was a rising in consciousness for me.
So these are the 6 signs of life.
The 6 signs of life. If 6 signs of life are there, then you know an atma is there. Like, for example, we have a water glass, but there's no 6 signs of life here.
Yeah.
Conversely, we have these beautiful plants here. They're growing, and they're going through all those 6 transformations. So it's good to know, because then we value life wherever we see it. From a human, to a cow, to a donkey, to a duck, to a plant, even to a fly. Every living entity is a soul present there. And that's when I started getting into the vegetarian lifestyle, because I could understand killing animals is so much violence, and killing plants is much less violent. But even killing plants is a violence. And one day, I was asked by Koshal, it was Sunday, he said, let's go to the Hare Krishna center. He said, Hari Om, brother, let's go to the Hare Krishna Sunday feast. So I went with him. I was a trumpet player at the time. I had my trumpet, he had his tablas. We were jamming, doing bhajan jamming with the Hare Krishnas in the mandir. And the feast was amazing. Rice, dal, sabji, chapatis, lassi, sandesh, rasgulla, puris, halava.
So that was the first time when you got introduced to the Indian cuisine.
Yeah, the first time I was there in the temple, and the fragrance of the agarbatti, the incense, and the whole vibe. The first time I saw deities, vigraha. It was such an overwhelming experience. And I started coming regularly to the mandir, especially for the halava. I became a halava bhakta.
Kids are curious for that, sweets, delicacies.
Yeah. There was pineapple halava, cherry halava, peanut butter halava, chocolate halava, blueberry halava, strawberry halava. The cooks were very creative and it was very delicious. So I started coming very often as a college student. So I was absorbed in music, but I started experimenting and coming especially for the prasadam to the Hare Krishna Mandir. Then I started staying longer for the kirtan because I liked the Indian music, the bhajans, and then started staying for Bhagavad Gita classes also. And then I could understand that there's some important questions to be asked in life. The animals, they eat, they sleep, they mate, and they defend. And human beings also eat, sleep, mate, and defend. The processes are exactly similar. The human is eating in a restaurant, the dog is eating in the street, the cat is sleeping on the tree, the man is sleeping in the bed. The mating is going on in the birds. The pigeons are mating on the buildings, and the people are mating in the home. And defense, the tiger has his sharp claws, and the men, they have atomic bombs.
Yeah.
But eating, sleeping, mating, defending are exactly parallel activities. So the humans can do one additional thing beyond that. And that is inquiring about the absolute truth. Atato Brahma Jigyasya.
Atato Brahma Jigyasa.
Yes, now is the time to inquire about the absolute truth. Who am I? Who is God? What is our relationship? Why do I have to die? What happens when I die? And how can I go back to the spiritual world? So these are very, very important questions. And it is also mentioned that if one does not ask these questions, then he or she is no better than a two-legged animal. So this had a very profound effect in me. It made a lot of sense. I found it to be an impeccable logic. So I said, this is definitely worthy of more exploration.
Usually I see, Maharajji, that so many people get confused in between if am I a body or if am I a soul. What's the truth?
We're both, body and soul. And we have to take care of both the body and the soul. There was an old lady, she wanted to buy a pet. She went to a pet shop and she saw so many animals. She saw dogs, she saw cats, birds, she saw gerbils and hamsters and rabbits, but there was no fish, there was no pet that she liked. But she saw a beautiful golden cage, Suvarna ke Pinjara. And she purchased that cage, took it home, She was daily polishing it. It was shining like the sun. But she did not realize that inside the cage there was a bird. And the bird was very hungry, crying out, "Bhuk lagao, bhuk lagao."
Yeah.
So she didn't hear the bird. 1 week went by. The bird was not getting any food. After 1 week, the bird died. The next day, her friend came, knocked on the door. Her friend came inside, and she said, "Just see my beautiful golden cage, Suvarna Ke Pinjra. Isn't it gorgeous?" And her friend said, "You fool, don't you know that inside the cage there was a bird?" So the moral of this story, Kahani Ki Shiksha, is that the bird represents the Atma and the Pinjara represents the body. So we have to take care of both, the body and the soul. So to take care of the body, we brush the hair, brush the teeth, sleep properly, eat properly, some exercise, wear warm clothes. And to take care of the soul, we feed the soul with bhakti. There are 9 processes of bhakti. There's Shravanam, hearing about spiritual topics, and reading about spiritual topics, and wisdom books like Bhagavad Gita. Kirtanam, sharing spiritual topics with others. Chanting, bhajans and kirtans. Vishnu Smarnam, remembering Krishna, remembering Vishnu. This is all food for the soul. Pada Sevanam, walking to the holy places and doing practical sevas. Archanam, doing puja. Vandanam, offering prayers. Dasyam, being in the mood of a servant. Sakyam, being in the mood of a friend. And Atmanivedanam, surrendering everything to the Supreme Lord. So this is the food for the soul. So thus, it's important that we realize we're not only this body, but we're a soul. And of the two, the soul is more important, because the body is here today, but gone tomorrow. But the Atma, the soul, is eternal. Na tvam evaham jatu nasam, na tvam neme janadipaha, na chaiva na bhavishyamaha, sarve vayam ataparam. Krishna says in the Gita, 2nd chapter, text number 12, "Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, and nor will there ever be a time when any of us cease to be." So what does it mean we don't cease to be? Of course this body will cease to be in 10, 20 years. I just turned 61. Maybe I have 20 more years, who knows? You know?
It's incredible. You don't look like. You look much younger.
But still, it's not going to go on forever. But the Atma, the soul, is eternal, shasvat. It's eternal. Na jayate mriyate va kadachid na bhutva na bhavata va na bhuyaha ajo nityam shasvato yam parano na hanyate hanyamane shirare. For the soul, there's never birth or death at any time. He does not come into being, has not come into being, and will not come into being. He's unborn, eternal, ever-existing, primeval. The soul is not slain when the body is slain. So this is the Atma, existence of the Atma.
So technically what I understood is we are inside a cage, which is a body. So we are the soul, we are the Atma.
Yes. Another good example is a car and the driver. So let's say we're driving a Maruti, right? We have a Maruti car. And after some time, 10, 20 years, Maruti car wears out. So the driver gets out of the old car and gets into a new car. Maybe a Mercedes or maybe a Rolls Royce. Depends on the karma that we accrue in this lifetime will dictate the next kind of body we get. Maybe we'll get a beautiful handsome, intelligent, strong, and healthy body, a human body, or maybe we'll be born as a cockroach. It depends, it's possible. It depends on our activities in this lifetime. That will help determine our future bodies. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text number 6, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavan chazante ante kalevaram tam tam evati konteya siddhatad bhava bhavataha. Whatever you remember at the time of death, that you will attain without fail. So whatever we remember at the time of death, that will affect our next destination. So as students, many of our listeners, they're students.
Yes, indeed.
So, and in one sense, we're all students.
Yes.
And as students, what is the most important exam?
What's that?
The final exam. So for us, all of us, the final exam is the time of death.
Yes.
So we want to remember Krishna at the time of death, and then we'll go to Krishna in our next life. And then punar janma naiti mameti sojuna. No need to take birth again in this bautik jagat, this material world, but we'll go back to the spiritual world.
Is this possible, Gurudev, if someone at the time of death calls Krishna's name and get completely, I will say, merged into the Krishna consciousness, then the other birth or the other body that soul takes, it gets the call from Krishna. That is what we were discussing like few minutes ago, that you got the signs of Krishna's, you got Krishna's call since birth.
Yes, definitely. That whatever Krishna consciousness we develop in this lifetime, we can continue in our next lifetime. If we become 50% Krishna conscious in this lifetime, then we can start at 51% in the next lifetime. This is explained by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text number 40, Chalis. Neha vikramo nashosti pratyavaya na vidyate swapalpam apasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor, there's no loss or diminution, and even a little advancement on this path can save one from the most dangerous type of fear. And the most dangerous type of fear is taking birth as an animal in the animal species, because animals don't have the same access to quick spiritual advancement like humans do. Humans have a wonderful opportunity to read Bhagavad Gita, engage in kirtan, visit the mandirs, and we don't see like fish doing these things. So humans is a great opportunity, and we should take advantage of that opportunity.
Absolutely. Maharaji, what was your journey like when you went under tutelage of Loknath Swami Maharaj?
So I had traveled from New York to Ireland and lived for 1 month in the forest, in the jungle.
In the forest?
Yeah. I was eating the plants growing in the forest. Plus I had a few oats I was cooking. And I lived that way for 1 month. I'd received Bhagavatam, one beautiful scripture, in the airport in New York on my way from one Hare Krishna devotee. I was reading that. And I was praying to God. I didn't know who God was. Please show me the next step in my life. And then when I ran out of oats, I visited Cork, Ireland, in the south of Ireland. I met Hare Krishna devotees there again. I decided to purchase one japamala from them. This is called a japamala. There's 108 beads.
108 beads.
Yeah, in the mala. And I started chanting with the local bhaktas every morning.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, very nice. After 1 week, I moved in with them, and one sanyasi came and stayed with us. Just 3 days after that, Trivikram Swami, and he taught me Bhagavad Gita, how to chant, how to do Sankirtan, how to distribute Bhagavad Gitas. And he sent me to London for further training. There's a beautiful mandir called Bhaktivedanta Manor. It was donated by George Harrison. And I went there, I started my seva, was washing the pots and peeling the potatoes and cutting the sabji.
So you were also doing all the chores?
What's that?
You were also doing those chores?
Yeah. That's an important part of bhakti, is to do some humble service. It helps soften the heart. Otherwise, we're so proud. We think we're so great. And if we think we're great, it's hard to learn from others because knowledge descends. So we want to take a humble position and receive the knowledge. So receiving knowledge, the quality of humility, is extremely important. So the cultivation of humility is very, very important. And by doing humble, menial service to God, it's very helpful to cultivate that humility. Krishna says in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text 18, Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavi Hastani Shuni Chaiva Swapake Cha Panditaha Samadarshanaha. This verse is about equal vision. In order to have that divya dristi, that transcendental vision, equal vision, we need vidya, knowledge, and also vinaya, humility. Humility is essential. One who has vidya and vinaya can see the Atma, the same soul in Brahmane, in a Brahman, Gavi, a cow, Hastani, and an elephant, Shuni, and a dog, Swapakecha, a dog eater. He can see the same Atma in all of these different bodies. So humility is a very, very important quality to cultivate for a spiritual life. And doing this pot washing and even toilet washing, I was doing so many menial services, and that was so helpful for the foundation of my spiritual life. And at that time, being based in London, Bhaktivedanta Manor, it was like a hub. London is a hub. The flights are coming through, and many sannyasis were visiting Bhaktivedanta Manor. They still do. That time, His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj, he came to visit there. And when I saw him, I offered my Dandavat pranams, and he also offered his pranams to me, which was very unusual because there were so many people there, so many devotees offering pranams left and right. Oh. So usually sannyasis would just keep walking. But Maharaj, he offered his pranams to me, and it was early morning hours. It was about 4:15 in the morning when I met him first time, when I saw him. And then we had our Mangal Artik every day, 4:30, and 5:30 we sit for japa for 2 hours. And when he sat down for japa, I sat with him. And he was chanting, and I was chanting, and it was the best japa I had ever experienced in my life. So that was my first meeting with Param Puja Lokanath Swami Maharaj.
Maharaji, when you went into the spirituality, the depth of spirituality, what was the spiritual experience, the best of the spiritual experience you have ever had while you were worshipping Krishna and you were into Krishna consciousness?
I remember one of the first very powerful experiences I had. Every day is an adventure in Krishna consciousness. Every day there are new experiences. But I remember one of my early powerful experiences, and I was living in Ireland in the forest, as I mentioned, and I had just met devotees in Cork. They'd given me the japamala, and I'd come back to my woods, and I decided I'm going to pack my bags, and I'm going to go and move in with them. So I went to a nearby city called Dungarvan, and the way we traveled in Ireland was by allostop, hitchhiking. And people were very friendly. People would stop within 10 minutes. Generally, I always get a ride. So 45 minutes I went to Dungarvan and sent some things by post back to America, sent some gifts for my family, just had the things I need. About 3 p.m. I'm on the banks on the outskirts of Dungarvan, hitchhiking to go back to the woods, pack my things, and then travel to Cork. Then I'm standing with my thumb out. 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by. What's happening? 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, hour goes by. What's going on? Krishna, you don't want me to go and join the devotees? So then, hour and a half, 2 hours, it's getting dark. It's like 5:30. It's getting dark outside. And then all of a sudden, car stops. It's a Volkswagen Beetle, these round ones. I never saw in Ireland before. And it was a hippie with long hair. I never saw a hippie with long hair in Ireland. He said, come on, get in. So I got in the vehicle, closed the door. He started the car, vroom, 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 and started to drive. And then he turned to me and he asked me a question. And he said, do you know anything about yoga? And I started repeating to him all that I'd been studying in the yoga. And I asked him, where are you going? And he said, I'm going to Cork. And that is a place I wanted to go to meet the devotees. And it would normally take me about 5-6 different rides. And I said, I'm also going to Cork, but I need to pick up my things at my woods. So he drove off the road into the woods, helped me pack all my stuff, put in his car, and then drove me all the way to Cork and put my things right in the devotees' ashram, had some prasadam, and left. So just an incredible experience. Usually I catch a ride in 10 minutes. This one, for the first time, took me more than 20 minutes, took me 2 hours or more. But the person who picked me up helped me pack all my things and took everything right to the ashram. So this is definitely Krishna's divine intervention.
Yeah, even I can feel that. The sort of appearance that you were explaining it to me, and I believe so many of my audience also got this feeling that it's Krishna's intervention.
Yes.
There.
So if we can actually, if we have the eyes, we can see Krishna's intervention in our life at every moment. But sometimes it becomes really obvious, like this, where Krishna really obviously shows his hand and gives us this kind of experience.
Maharaj, I lately went into discussion with a seeker, a devotee of Lord Krishna, and she was just telling me that she was hospitalized, and somehow the hospital required some documents to be signed by her son. And her son got stuck somewhere in traffic, somewhere in office. So let's not get into the details. But she told me that her son called her and told her that, Mom, I got stuck somewhere and it will take time. Then the hospital informed her that until the documents will get signed, we cannot admit you. And she told me that a very handsome boy of my boy's age, her son's age, around 20ish, he came over there having beautiful curly hairs, and he signed the form, and hospital asked, who is she to you? And he said that she's like my mother, just admit her. And somehow he conversed with the hospital staff and he convinced them to admit the old lady. She got admitted, and then she told her son that I got admitted and then now they are preparing for whatever the procedures are there. Her son got completely shocked. From where this guy came? Out of nowhere. And the moment she looked back, he vanished into the thin air. It was such a shocking experience that she shared with me. And she was telling me that time with tears in her eyes that it was Krishna who filled in when my son wasn't there. It was such a divine experience that I had listened and I've got to know. I believe it will only strengthen the faith of devotees in Krishna.
Meeting Param Puja Lokanath Swami Maharaj, it said the Guru is the representative of Krishna. Just like when the Queen of England sends the representative, the ambassador, to another country, the ambassador is given the same respect as the Queen herself. So the spiritual master, the Guru, is the representative of Krishna. Sakshad Hari Tvena Nasamastra Shastra. All the Shastras say that the Guru is Sakshad Hari. He's like Hari. He's Hari's representative. So meeting Param Puja Lokanath Swami Maharaj, taking his guidance, eventually he guided me to join Padayatra. And I walked on foot through Holland, Belgium, France, and Spain.
All on foot?
All on foot.
How many days it took?
It took around 8 months.
8 months? Quite a long time.
Yeah, 4 months one summer and 4 months the next summer. So it was an incredible experience. Every day there were miracles.
What sort of miracles were there?
We would see like the Padayatra cart. We walk with a cart, with a bullock cart, with deities, Gauranitai deities. I'd be distributing books, chanting the holy names, distributing prasadam, meeting people, giving them Bhagavad Gitas. And I remember one time the cart was supposed to go under a gate, but the gate was too low. The cart couldn't fit inside. But somehow we let a little bit of air out of the tires. And the cart had to go like this much, but there was only that much in the tires, but somehow it passed underneath.
Oh.
So that was like a miracle. We couldn't believe it. And I was with Param Puja Lokanath Swami Maharaj in Spain, and he started sharing with me about Bharat. Wouldn't I like to see Bharat and visit Vrindavan and Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, very good for sadhu lifestyle. So I said, yes, I'd love to come. And he said, I'd like you to come. Our office staff in Delhi are looking for someone to help with communications services. Can you come? I said, yes, I'd like to come. I said, when should I come? He said, come tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Such a short notice.
Yeah, from Spain to Bharat. Of course, it took me a month to collect the funds for my flight ticket. I was selling Bhagavad Gitas on the street in the UK to collect the funds for my flight ticket. So I reached, and by Krishna's arrangement, on my flight is the same devotee, Parasharam Prabhu, who was in charge when I walked through Holland, Belgium, and France. He was in charge of that. He was there with his wife and his kids. And it was my first time in Bharat. He had been there many times. And we sat together on the flight. We hadn't planned it. We were just together on the flight. And when we landed, he said, come with us. And he booked a taxi to Vrindavan. Wow. It was Kartik, first day of Kartik.
You still remember that?
Yeah. I remember pulling out of the airport and seeing all the different animals, the cows and the asses and the hogs and the sheep.
In Vrindavan?
Just right in front of the airport.
Yeah, they are there.
They're there everywhere.
Yeah.
So we traveled to Vrindavan, and I'm just there in Vrindavan first time. I don't know where to stay, what to do. And then I meet Lokanath Swami Maharaj, and he puts me in a hotel with some dharamshala with some padayatris. And next day we're out on parikrama, walking in Sri Vrindavan Dham.
You have traveled to over 25 countries. What was it like? Is there any difference that you spotted in those countries, or the level of consciousness that humans have in each of the country? What was your experience?
Everywhere is a different flavor. There's so much variety in Krishna's creation. And everywhere everyone is an Atma. It doesn't matter if we're American or Indian or German or Swiss or Spanish or French. The Atma is there. And the nature of the Atma is anandomayo bhyasat, is desiring pleasure, desiring happiness, desiring ananda. And everyone's looking for ananda. And ananda can be found through seva. Savaipum samparo dharmo yato bhaktir adhoksaje ahoitaki apratiyata yayatma suprasidati. That Savaipam samparo dharmo, the topmost dharma for any living entity, is yato bhaktir adhoksaje, is Bhakti Yoga. It should be ahoitaki, unmotivated, apratiyata, uninterrupted. As a result, yayatma suprasidati, the Atma becomes satisfied, super satisfied. So I'm seeing everywhere, whether it's in Brazil, whether it's in New York, whether it's in Spain or Australia, and Singapore, in the Middle East, anywhere, that if one takes up the chanting and the practice of Bhakti Yoga, then they become joyful.
While I was doing my research, Maharaji, I observed that you said that music and soul are connected. What's the connection in between the music and the soul that we don't know about in modern world today?
Well, the interesting thing about music and the soul is that we find them here in this material world and also in the spiritual world.
So it's the same music is there?
Music is defined by melody. Sa-re-ga-ma-pa-da-ni-sa. It's defined by rhythm. It's combined of different instruments like sitars and venas and mridangas and temporas. And here in this material world we have guitars. There's so many different instruments, so that creates variety. Variety is the spice of life. So it is said that music is the best way to worship Krishna. And our goal in life is to worship Krishna, please Krishna, because if Krishna becomes pleased, then automatically we become pleased also.
So how does it take us to Krishna? Is it connected to the cosmic sun that you were referring to just a moment ago?
So our connection to Krishna is through seva. And we discussed the 9 processes of bhakti earlier. Yes. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. So Kirtanam is a very, very important part of our service to Krishna. And Kirtan combined with music is a wonderful combination. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Satatam kirtayanto mam yantantascha dridhanataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. So constantly chanting my glories, Krishna says, Satatam kirtayanto mam yantantascha dridharataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya. Become my devotee, and in this way, nitya, always, yukta, connected in worship with me, upasate. So music and the worship of Krishna just go so well together. It's said in Brahma Samhita, in the spiritual world, every word is a song, every step is a dance, and every day is a festival.
So beautiful, so soulful. You sing so well, and I can feel the essence of the spirituality, the Bhakti Yoga all together combined. What's there for the seekers to know about Lord Jagannathas in today's context? And how should we get closer to Krishna and Lord Jagannatha, I'll say?
So Lord Jagannath, Jaga means universe, and Nath means controller or Lord. So Jagannath means Lord of the universe. So he's not just Lord of those in Bharat, but he's Lord of everyone. So Jagannath is available to everyone all over the world. And he makes himself available especially through Rathyatra festivals.
Yes, these days the Rathyatra is there.
Yes. This last week I attended 4 Rathyatra festivals.
Wow.
One in Noida, one in Greater Noida West, one on the Noida Expressway,
Oh.
and one in Jawar, where the new airport is coming up. So Jagannath is also famous for prasad. Jagannath bhat prasade kehat. So we take Jagannath's Maha Prasadam. As a Westerner, someone born in the Western countries, I'm not allowed to go inside the Jagannath Mandir. But I am allowed to have prasadam. So when I do go to Jagannath Puri, I make friends with the pandas there, and they bring me wonderful Jagannath prasadam.
Beautiful.
And this way I can also experience Jagannath's mercy. And I also attended Jagannath Rathyatra in Puri one time.
Oh, what was that experience like?
That was an incredible experience of a lifetime.
How did you feel that time?
It was amazing. Started early in the morning with the Pandu Vijay. Jagannath is coming out of a temple and he's going like this. And a friend of mine asked the Pandits, he's so big, he must weigh 2-3 tons.
Yeah.
How do you rock him like that? And the Pandits say, we're not rocking him, we're trying to keep him still. He's rocking like that.
He's rocking himself?
He's rocking himself, yeah. Because he's in a mood of madness. Because the mood of Rathyatra is Jagannath Puri represents Dwarka, and the Gundicha Mandir, which is the destination of the Rathyatra, represents Vrindavan. So Jagannath has a desire to return to Vrindavan, and the residents of Vrindavan, the gopis, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Devi, the Gwalbal, the cowherd boys, they all have a desire to bring Krishna back. So the mood of Rathyatra is Krishna is returning from Dwarka to Vrindavan. So with this mood, he's in a state of madness that he's returning to Vrindavan. So if we assist Jagannath by pulling those ropes and bringing him back to Vrindavan, then we get his mercy. And also we get the mercy of the residents of Vrindavan. A friend of mine, Gauranga Prabhu, he tells a very wonderful example. That have you ever fasted on a Pandava near Jalikadashi, no water, no food, no anything, 24 hours? So imagine you just did that fast and it was time to break your fast the next morning and someone brought you the beautiful meal with a big cool glass of water and so much wonderful khichdi and sabji and paneer sabjis and wonderful
So many delicacies.
Kaja, right? And you're just about to dive into the meal. And all of a sudden you notice that there's a glass case underneath, over the top of the meal, locked. So you can't access it. So it's there, it's so close, but you can't access it. And you're so hungry and thirsty. Now imagine somebody comes with a key and gives you the key and opens it. Would that person be your best friend who has that key for you? Yes.
Yes.
So similarly, the residents of Vrindavan, they want to bring Jagannath back to Vrindavan, and they're with Jagannath, they're with Krishna in a place called Kurukshetra, but they don't have access to Krishna because he's dressed like a prince. He doesn't have the peacock feather, and there's so many armies and horses and chariots and elephants. It's a total different mood. They want that Vrindavan mood of intimacy. So if we assist Jagannath and the residents of Vrindavan to pull the chariot, the Rathyatra cart, then we're assisting the residents of Vrindavan in having access to Lord Krishna again. So we can become very dear to them. So it's a wonderful way to access the mercy of Jagannath.
Beautiful indeed. When we were discussing about the Sankirtana, when we were discussing about the Nam chanting, does it always dissolve, does it also dissolve our karma?
Does chanting dissolve our karma? Yes, it does. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 1st chapter, text 14. Apana samsmritim goram yanama vivishograna tata sadyo vimucheta ihad vibeti swayam vayam. That apana samsritam goram, we're trapped in the samsara chakra, this cycle of birth and death. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, birth, death, disease, old age, or egbar, or egbar, or egbar. It's like a Ferris wheel. If you go to the amusement park, you sit in the Ferris wheel, it goes around and around and around. So apana samsmritim goran yanama, if you chant the name of Krishna, yanama vivisho, even unconsciously, like, oh Krishna, without even focus, granan, if you accept that chanting, then sarva papa vinashanam, the pap gets destroyed. And so this chanting is so very, very powerful that it can affect our previous karma. And if we're in the kirtan and we clap our hands in the kirtan like this.
Like this?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, then the lines on our hands can change.
Really?
Yeah, our karma is gone, the lines on our hands can change.
Incredible. Technically, Krishna rewrites our destiny.
He can rewrite our destiny, yes.
Absolutely divine. Maharaji, any message that you want to give to our audience, the modern seekers, the youth who are into Krishna and are avid devotee of Lord Krishna and Jagannath?
Yeah. So my message to the youth of Krishna consciousness is please practice with utsaha nischayat dharyat, enthusiasm, determination, and patience. It's the best path that we could find. Stick to it. Make friends and share Krishna consciousness with your friends. Take guidance from seniors and be compassionate to the innocent people of this world and share Krishna consciousness with others. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaji, for joining us today and gracing us with your soulful and spiritual presence. I'm feeling so grateful today. And I believe it's Krishna's wish that I'm having your presence here.
Thank you, Madhavi ji. मैं बहुत प्रसन्न हूँ, मैं आपका बहुत आभारी हूँ.
मैं अभी इक्वली प्रसन्न हूँ और आभारी भी हूँ और दिल से I'm feeling very much grateful. Just have no words to put it aptly, but yes, thank you so much for being there.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai, Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.
If this conversation made you pause, reflect, or see spiritually in a new light, share it with someone who needs it deeply. Subscribe to the Speaking Tree podcast channel, and until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, keep smiling, and keep your mind open to the mystical moments that we have here. Do let me know in the comment section about your spiritual experiences of the divine energies and the Lord Krishna. If you are also in the Krishna consciousness, do share with me that also. If you have any question that you want to ask to Maharaji in our next upcoming podcast, Do share that in the comment section. Like it, share it, and send it to the one who actually needs it. Until next time we meet again. Thank you so much. Stay happy, stay smiling. Namaskaram.